to the Undercover Policing Inquiry. Just on the morning break, we've been listening to the live evidence of Callum, who's a former Hunsab, Admiral ALF activist, was involved after he went to prison with the ALF supporters group. There's a lot of restriction orders on what we're allowed to report today, so I've had to delete quite a few quotes. Joined with Eveline from the Undercover Research Group. What did you make of his evidence this morning?
Well, he's very clear and convincing in what he did and why he did it, explaining that the violence came from the hunters and that that it was never set up to be criminal or to pass I'm really tired.
Yeah, no worries.
And he was like, he's still behind what he has done. He's, in that sense, he's very clear in. He's got no doubts about what he did, and he's explaining why he did it. Of course, as ever, the violence question is coming back, but he's very convincing in explaining, in greater detail, how the violence was coming from the hunters.
Yeah, I mean, he talks a lot about the need to use sort of projection, and he talked about how the Hunsab group he was part of would wear the same outfit, the same masks, so that then the hunters would know which one was which, but also it was quite intimidating. And there's this use of things short of violence in order to dissuade the violence from the hunt was a key part of the whole sort of process of presenting as something which was not violent, not illegal, but would hopefully dissuade hunters from being violent towards the Hunsabs. For the most part, this didn't work. That the hunters were incredibly violent. We heard pretty graphic descriptions of some fairly nasty violence that had a really significant effect on the lives of the people who were on the receiving end of it, that the hunters doled out, and how basically that despite overwhelming evidence, the police would not arrest any of the hunters and give them carte blanche really to behave as violently as they wanted. That came across very strongly. I wasn't able to really report that in the way that I wanted to, because it was deemed that was threatening the privacy order that's in place. I don't think that's the case. Certainly Callum's lawyer didn't think it was the case either, but I have deleted it anyway. It's quite a frustrating way of the way this particular session is being covered. But yeah. What can you do? Yeah. I mean, such is the frustration of reporting from a so-called public inquiry. So we heard a lot more about Callum went to prison for a number of years. I can't really explain too much about that, but when he came out, he was very involved with the ALFSG and really sort of the focus towards prisoner support as opposed to anything else, and the way in which the ALFSG would send money to prisoners. There was quite a lot of ALF prisoners at that point. There's a lot of action going on, so sending them money, sending them things they needed whilst they were inside, all that sort of thing. Anything else you want to add? No. I'll do a proper feedback thing at lunchtime. We've got Callum all morning. This afternoon is Walter. He equally has got quite strict reporting restrictions. I'll have to refresh myself then before we go into it, so I won't give any sort of preview of the kind of things we might hear from him, just in case that breaches any kind of restriction order again. All right, cheers for joining. See you later on.